Welcome everybody to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are a bunch of truculent truants who like to drink and play TTRPGs. That one I felt pretty good about. So thank you everyone for joining us, as always, on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. As you can see, we're in now 3 different places. It is now growing and multiplying and everything, but it's Jesus Zombie Day, so sometimes
it was a lich.
Yeah, he was a lich. Yes, we had the conversation this morning. Obviously, Jesus
not everybody understands a lich. You know, we do have some new D&D people in our audience. They don't understand what a lich is, but everyone knows what a zombie is.
That just means they gotta go look it up.
Yep.
Your homework is why Jesus is a lich, not a zombie. That's right. Yes. In the Discord.
But as always, if you want to join us and join the conversation, you can now click the links below. If you were watching this on YouTube, you can find everything in the first pinned comment, where you will find our link tree. You will find all of our interwebby things. If you are listening to this on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, any of those places, you can click where you've normally clicked. You can find all our links in the show notes. And there you will be able to join us and chat. But please, actually, I have to give a shout out to all of our Discord members. Our Discord has been exceedingly lively the last... I know I've said that a lot, but every week it seems to grow and grow more. And it seems to get more and more interesting. Like, we have a fairly new addition. She is making beautiful cocktails and sharing the recipes, and they are awesome. It's not something that we're making. So for that, I'm very excited. And so with that being said, though, we have a quick shout out, Curtis, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, this weekend, Jared and I played around at this stuff and followed it up by heading over to Balmer Peak. Right when they opened at 3 p.m. Don't go before then, they won't let you in. We went over to Balmer Peak, had their location that's on like Alameda, and we heard some really good news that they're not moving to a new location. They're opening a second new location, which is really, really cool. So congrats to Austin and Eric and James and Michaela and all the people at Balmer Peak. In celebration of it, I bought 2 bottles of their liquor, and that was the only reason. Besides the fact that it's delicious, and they're just doing really, really well. So I just wanted to commend them on the fact that they're going to be opening a second location. So their first location, starting in mid to late June, will be the one that's on Alameda right now. Will be their experimental location. So like their Black Ops, like Area 51, where they're going to do new stuff. And then the other location is larger. It is going to be on Alameda and Sheridan. So on the corner of Alameda and Sheridan, it's going to be on the northwest corner, and they're going to be doing all their regular stuff. It will be available. So you'll be able to get their main drinks, but any of the new stuff or new boozes, they're together at the old location. So, well, I'll repeat.
Awesome. And so, also, one of the cool things is they may not be something official, but we do have a little bit of a relationship with the Balmer Peak guys. Distiller Austin is in the Discord, and you can chat with them. You can hit them up. They do look at the Instagram. They give us a like every now and then. They're really cool dudes. So support local. And if you're not in the Denver area, go find someplace like Balmer Peak and hang out.
Distiller.
Mm-hmm. Local distiller, local brewery, all of it. So that is awesome. And if you also haven't noticed our location out there with Nate and Matt and Curtis and all of them, there's some new kit and some new clothing and everything. So we're happy to announce that we have our very first sponsor for Campaign 1. We are happy to announce Gung Homies as the first sponsor. And in TTRPGs, humor can be juvenile and morbid. For those of you whose job involves significant stress, the humor can also match. For the most serious of operators, a bit of irreverence is essential. Gung Homies is a veteran-owned clothing brand that brings humor from the front lines. Think someone is too self-serious? Show them the Whiskey Mo shirt. Love coffee, booze, and explosions? Check the Fueled By series. With hats, pint glasses, mugs, and flags, in addition to shirts and sweatshirts, there are lots of great gear to show that you get it. Not sure what it is? Well, we don't fucking know either. All proceeds go to feeding the owner's whiskey habit. Gun Homies, the elaborate brand for the most serious of work. Now stop being you and go drink a beer. Check them out at gunghomies.myshopify.com. You will also find links in the show notes below or in the pinned comment. Thank you, Gung Homies, which essentially means me, but also thank you for the boys for allowing me to sponsor this first episode. Oh, yeah. I'm very excited. Heck yeah. I'm very proud of the brand. It's something that it has kind of taken a little life of its own, but I'm very thankful for the boys for letting me do this, and thank you all for all. Also, if you go into and check out and put the code Whiskey Mo, all one word, you will get a sweet discount. Nice. So with that all being said, yeah, look at that dope hat.
I'm supposed to be wearing that instead of this loser hat that I choose to wear too often.
I mean, I'm wearing this one, so
at least that's local, and I have really not a great excuse anymore. Yeah. But anyway, all right, let's go.
So thank you, Gung Homies. Thank you to the fellas. Thank you, everyone out there. Go check it out. Go buy the products, and let me buy better whiskey. So it's one of my favorite bits of the ad.
Exactly.
It's pretty good. So anything else before we roll into tonight? Awesome.
I need to hear this shortly after the Discord should be revamped. I'm gonna do that. It's me recording and upload.
So cool. If you're listening to this and the Discord is not revamped on Discord, and you'll shout it.
A little bit of that internet shame goes a long way.
It really does.
It really does.
It has worked for us significantly in the past. All right. Well, the last time that we met, the group met with the manager and a strange legal adept named Dickie Walker.
Drinks.
Oh, thank you. Drinks.
I know. Has to tell his.
Nate has to tell his drink first. So I made for Frangelico steak. It's 1 ounce Frangelico, 3/4 ounce Sensei whiskey, which my friend Travis gave me to money. It was a laugh at because it tastes like better crackers. Half ounce of herbal orange curacao, 1/4 ounce of orange, 1/4 ounce of lemon juice, 2 dashes of my first attempt at chocolate bitters, shaken over ice and strained. Everybody has loved it. I'm really glad it because it's the whole reason why I made the chocolate bitters. It's probably the only thing I'll be drinking tonight. So, Yeah. And that's your first attempt? Yeah. Fucking Neil's his one? Yeah. It also doesn't have all the herbs that most flavors have. Okay. I made a beverage. It is going to be called Rowdy Tate, which is named after a pioneer saloon person in the Wild West after the Civil War. And she was a firebrand that literally told where it meant she couldn't drink. The Rowdy Tate involves half ounce of my whiskey, 1.5 ounces of Tomcat gin, which I believe is a what's been the Mediterranean? Old Tom gin.
Old Tom.
It's got Tom in the name.
Yeah, wine is like Tomcat.
Yeah, the Tomcat Old Tom gin, which is delicious, by the way. And then it's got 3/4 ounce of the 443, 3/4 ounce of alcohol, and 3/4 ounce of lemon. And you shake the shit out of that, and then you dirty dump it into Tom's glass. Add a little bit of seltzer. I use the LaCroix lemon cello, and then I add a little bit more cocktail on top, and it is lovely. I also expressed orange. You can see pictures on the Discord.
You want the I on mine. So I made the I was calling it adult orange soda, but Curtis suggested one off the rush, and it's much better. It is great. Rush. Adult crush. Adult crush. Yeah. But yeah. Well, I'll go fix that in Discord once I'm talking. Yeah. So it is. I did the same game, the Tomcat gin. This time it's 12. But if I had from the code, we were doing like it's really gonna work. But so it's 2 ounces of that, an ounce of Adderall, an ounce of Cointreau, the shit out of it. What else nice? It's super good. Very tasty.
Dustin, did you make a drink?
I did.
So then is this for it?
It is.
Excellent.
You also said you have a picture for it.
I do have a picture for it. You know, I had it right in front of it.
Live.
So, this one on the bottom is low regard of crack plays.
If you're off of it, Office fan, yeah. See.
Oh, I see
Yeah. I see you.
It is 2 ounces of the Cashew Lume whiskey, 1.5 ounce of the Baez Mezcal, half ounce of Gargoyle Curacao and Fernandingo hazelnut, some lily bitters, and plum and orange bitters, but I'm pretty sure those are optional. I think those just got washed out by the Mezcal.
And I'll do mine as well. Calling this the Six-Fingered Man. Yeah. So it's 2 ounces Banahaz Espinino Durell Mezcal Artesanal, half an ounce of Liquor 43, half an ounce of Remy Martin Cognac, half an ounce of Serrano Agave syrup, half an ounce of my trash oleo. It's citrus oleo saccharum. I'll put that in the Discord later, the recipe for that. 2 dashes of Nate's chocolate bitters. And then stir it, serve it on a large rock, and garnish it with a lacto fermented cherry, which I will also put in the Discord later. The lacto fermented cherries are real nice.
All right, I believe that's everything, yeah?
They're very.
I have no idea what's going on. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the last time that we met, thank you for catching that, all by the way. After arriving to meet the manager and meeting a strange legal adept named Dickie Walker, there were some discussions with the manager about just kind of things going forward. And then the party had to deal with, most of the party had to deal with a unique offer and then begin conversations as to what is happening next. Sid had a dream with dark implications. And it is now the next morning as you have all awoke. What is it that you're going to do? There are the options. Breakfast options, as always. There's the canteen and then your personal conference room that has been set aside for you.
We have like a set meeting with the manager here later on in the day, right? That it was fun.
There wasn't a set time other than it was like, I think a full day. He gave you 26 hours, I think.
So Sid did not probably sleep much after the dream. It's kind of a haunting, I feel like a haunting that she feels, either that she's been pulled so close to her entity that the blood that resides around her, or some other being, even it's not necessarily the creature or the that she had in her head of who gave her, where her powers came from, but she's gonna seek out, probably, I know that Sark is up usually pretty early, so probably will be kind of looking for Sark in the morning. I think she goes to the cantina.
Are you just said before the sun's up?
No, this is the next morning.
Yeah, next morning. Sid's in the canteen in the next morning, yeah.
Yeah, is the sun up yet? Because you said you didn't see much.
I think so. I think it'd be up, like, she went there before the sun is up, but I think...
The trees would show up, probably not burning in it's after sunrise. If Sark isn't there. I feel like Sark would walk by. Well, unless he stopped, he's gonna endure it.
I think... Can I roll perception? I rolled a perception check, if that's okay.
For what? What are you trying to find?
For hearing Sark walk by.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I got a... Oh my god, math. Why? 23?
Sure. Yeah, you can see him.
Oh, Sark, can you come in here, please?
That's
Sark.
Sorry, no, it's clean the earth off this girl. But anyways, what? Sorry, son. What?
I'm gonna need your help. I had this crazy dream last night, like the ones that Scald usually has. And I woke up with this, and Sid pulls down her shirt to show the black scales around her chest mechanism.
Yeah. I think we notice a roll on that just for information. Like, that's Sarah's instinct. Because, like, that's not natural. I don't know if I would be able to help, like, pull out the med tip and rolls it. Just like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, go ahead and roll a medicine check.
in it, thing to breathe. 9. No one is.
Rainbow fucking right.
Roll a 10, but not one.
Didn't bring a shot glass.
It's probably is swinging around the bottle.
Okay, you're the heaviest one.
It's a very healthy, expensive swig, but it is quite tasty. So I'll wait for everyone to get there.
I don't have anything to drink. I was just trying to join, so we're gonna pretend.
All right, so drink, motherfucker, drink.
Not on the total of 10. I don't know what's about. Or what misinformation I get from this.
So I'll give you this with a total of 10. What are you doing with this, Nate? Like, are you just looking? Are you touching?
Like a surface things out, like almost as if he's trying to figure out what kind of wound this would be.
Okay.
It's not natural, and he knows that. Like, if it's not natural, he generally yells in hell to try and figure this stuff out. He's like, nope, since talking to me, I'm not gonna have much to say.
So as you look at it with a 10, because there's a lot of information that could have been gained from this, what I'll say is that the reason you're so perplexed is that this is both natural and unnatural, right? So this is obviously some sort of extension of Sid's body. It appears to be something that it doesn't seem like metal or something that needs to be manufactured. It feels like something that is part of some sort of a physical body, but is obviously not something that is supposed to be on Sid. So that is the reason why you are so perplexed about this.
And Sark, it's okay if you can't figure this out right now. Like, I know usually Elle's better at this, but we know Elle doesn't wake up yet.
One, I'm not used to not cutting into things that I don't understand. Two, it gives me vibes of things that I've read about that are seemingly, well, unnatural growths of natural material. Like, that's you. It shouldn't be there, but that's you.
Just
And
think.
let me cutting into you, I don't have any more to tell you.
Yeah, so I had this dream with this, I don't know if it was a dragon, but really dark as night creature that unwound and had scales. I think I want to try to get to the library at some point and figure out what this creature was that I dreamed about. Is it a real thing? I mean, it feels real because it's on me, but really would like you and Elle's help getting some research and trying to figure out who this creature was that that came into my dream.
Anyone else popping in the canteen at this point?
I think the streets might be always like walking in.
Yeah,
Mm.
two people are going to be about 20 minutes after sunrise. So if it's the source time right now, like I'm not there yet.
No, so Sid did say it's after sunrise at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time do we think it is?
Would be there as well with these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to get kind of an early start anyways, right?
Yeah, so we'll say as the
I think we'd all walk in at the same time.
as
I was
the
gonna say, early for Al.
We grew in that Sarkis getting older. We need to go. In fact, shoot out a little bit. We'll tell you, Miss Crowd, come out and what's the point out? Then I had to really start with.
Skeleton can't pick up L for some reason that Skeleton doesn't understand. I'm pretty sure it's magic. Because it's definitely bullshit.
so
He doesn't have any magic. It's terrible.
let me get perception checks from Patrice, SOA, and Skeld.
600
Dream, motherfucker, dream. Oh my god.
time. Natural one. If it's just not going to go in it.
We're rolling the ones out of the dice.
Steiner is up.
But I already. I'm out.
There were like cherry notes on this, man. This is like the best whiskey I've had in a very long time.
You can. That's the
Jones house.
Jones.
The Jones, yeah.
So good. So good.
I got times, which I think is the highest anybody's rolled on anything.
What was the total?
10.
Okay. Well, luckily, because Sid's not necessarily hiding it at this point, but SOA, you're the one that sees, and you kind of see her pulling up, she's got a little cleavage showing, and
Sark usually would stand up in front and block you. So
Yeah.
that's what actually blends, but it's just had it for Sark to do that.
but before you watch as Sark steps in front, you do see some sort of dark mass that is now around her the mechanism on her chest.
What's going on in here? Are we comparing things?
No, I had a dream last night, more of a nightmare, and I woke up with these scales. I'm kind of freaked out about it.
What?
Have it?
You three experienced dreams like Sid Dallas, you thought I'm going to do a maybe grumpy person wake up. Be right back.
What happened in the dream?
Woke up. There was this blackness that unraveled. I don't know if it was a dragon or some other serpent with scales, and kind of wrapped itself around me, and then I shot awake and had this on my chest.
Is there a name?
No, I didn't get a name. Have any of you guys seen something like this before?
There's a lot of folk tales around dragons,
Are we sure it's a dragon?
Were you descended from a dragon?
or
No, I'm not. I have dragon blood was injected into my body. It's
Oh.
part of me now, but
That seems safe.
yeah.
Well,
What?
He's mentioned this before. Hasn't he?
She's
She's mentioned this before. Hasn't she?
That's such inconsistent.
I don't think I was a part of that conversation.
Did you just mention it to me?
no, I thought I mentioned it to the whole party
I
at
thought we
least
talked
once.
about it.
I might have missed that. You may have mentioned it, but I think I blacked it out because it sounded so insane to me.
Oh no, this is why I can do all the crazy spells that I can do. Is I was basically a science experiment.
Well, my other question still stands. Are you sure it's dragon or mid-light? You said it was serpent blank. It was dark.
Dark, unraveled, and had scales.
So-
Morgan, if I'm missing anything, remind me.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and roll a history check to see how your recall is about the dream.
I believe that's a flat 5. Yes.
You don't have a combat kind of plan. You should. What? It's been you might kill us. Oh, jeez. Let's search. You're the see one.
So I will say this, Jared. Sid has never seen nor heard of a serpent that is that big that is not a dragon.
Okay.
But that is the only context that you were able to get from that. Because you do remember that it not only was essentially encompassing the entirety of the sky as you looked up,
Right.
but then eventually came to encompass you in your
Right.
whole space. So, yeah, do with that as you will.
No, it was probably a dragon. It was massive, like took up the entire sky, and then it came down and started encompassing me, like almost choking me out. It was kind of scary. Like, I'm not afraid of much of anything, but I guess I'm scared of losing myself. Anyway,
Whatever it is.
I have to let that happen.
yeah, I really want to try to research and see if there's any of those folklores or myths or any documentation of anything like this. I mean, we're at the place. The manager has a massive library. Might as well do some research at some point.
I feel like this is when Sart rings L kind of blank in the room. Scout, does this remind you of the deep court? And then goes and figures out how to set
Coffee for everybody.
The dream, the somnambulant ambush sounds a lot like the deep court.
So, for those of you who have seen the deep court, who have stood there, go ahead and roll an insight check.
I thought that puts me in. I was like, I'm probably saying roll better than.
Oh! Trip of the nice. There we go.
that was the edit cutting.
Well, I don't even have a hand climb. I'm in.
We didn't know.
Thank you.
They have the bottle.
Perfect. I got a 3. We know what Matt got.
What did you get, Curtis?
I rolled another 5. So I think
that
that's
sucked tonight. I need you guys to roll well, but
TPK.
Total of a 43.
so SOA, this is nothing like what you saw at the deep court, right? So even though there wasn't a lot of clarity in the spaces, except for the things that you have seen, like each of your individual representations, even the kind of serpentine, the only distinction that you guys may have, there was talk of a large serpent,
Yes.
but this doesn't match that description that Skjald had given y'all at some point. This is different.
Okay. I feel like this reminds me of the deep court. Did you get any images of the serpent when you were down there? When you see the deep court?
And how is the deep court? See, look at that. I'll tell you in a minute. Have some coffee. Just stick a coffee with rum in it in front of you. There's my coffee with rum in it. I have to.
There is a. If it's a dragon or a serpent, the only thing I've heard tales of there basically being kind of 4 massive dragons that are almost like a reflection of different human emotions that bind.
But that's not
The material plane.
That's not the deep court.
No. I don't think it's deep court. I think
You're right.
if it's a dragon,
That makes more sense.
that would make more sense. I also feel like or if it's like a sea serpent. I've heard that story both ways.
I feel like Sedna would have described it as a dragon if it was a dragon that she wanted us to watch out for. You know what I mean? Like, she definitely said sea serpent. You said it's black scales, and you got his jaw. Yeah.
You're
It feels like none of that makes sense. And the scales are black. Does anybody know anything about dragons? I mean, I haven't ever encountered one.
I've just heard that story.
I mean, I even sailed to places where the map said there would be dragons.
SOA,
Just a
roll
dude.
a history check for me.
Can I roll to see what I held on there too?
This is a different one from what you would roll, L. So
Okay.
okay, no, you're good.
Well, let's. I mean,
Fine,
that
but
gives
it
me
was-
something
it's not
to
matter,
go
right?
on. I feel like had strong emotions of late. Maybe you're onto something, SOA. We'll follow up that at least gives us something to look for first.
And then so before you roll L, because you do have as a character, you have a fairly broad base of knowledge. What would dragons be something that you kind of ADHD over fixate on, or would it be something you just have tangential knowledge on?
Tangential.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that was going to change.
That's a fucking great question.
I know, right? It changes the DC, right?
Did L have a dragon phase when he was 12 or no?
So go ahead and roll a history check for me, please.
The train hasn't pulled up my player sheet yet. The 2, so 11.
You're still too groggy, man. Like you're wanting to recall information, but the caffeine and the booze hasn't hit your bloodstream yet. So like you're struggling. You're like I feel like I should know something about dragons. They're cool. They fly. I want to fly like them. Nope, and that's all you got.
I think it was only about dragons. There's still too much blood on my caffeine's turned off.
That's pretty good. All right. So at this moment, as you guys are having this kind of serious conversation, the maitre d' from yesterday comes in, and Skjald, he walks up directly to you and hands you something, and it is a small slip of paper. And right there is actually where we're going to take our really first break. I know this is kind of a quick segment, but it fits right on our time in real life. So we're going to take a really quick break, and we will be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where Curtis is very set upon making sure that everything is clean, and we appreciate you for it.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, if you don't mind, let me start first. I have one that I'm super proud of. For those of you who are on the Discord, you have seen the recipe. It is something coffee. It is 2 parts Jameson's coffee, cold brew whiskey, 1 part Tia Maria coffee liqueur, 1 part Groove Street orange liqueur. I just build it and just pour it on top. So I go the whiskey, the orange, and then the Tia Maria, and I don't do anything to it. It's absolutely wonderful, and I love it, and it's perfect for me. So, drink.
I made a drink. It has 3 different rums. It has an infinity rum that Nate's been building. It has
building because it is a holdover from John.
it's a John Nate collaboration infinity rum. I added to it, by the way, because I needed to add to it before I was done. Because I was going to pull some out. I better put some in. So
Get back to your drink, guys. Come on. Drinks.
Yeah. So the other rum I had was the anniversary rum from Balmer Peak and some OFTD to give it some heat. So there's 3/4 of an ounce each one of those. Then there's 3/4 of an ounce of Averna, and 3/4 of an ounce of a Infinity coffee liqueur, and then there's a quarter of an ounce of nitro infused,
Nice.
and then a quarter of an ounce of Campari and some two droppers of tiki bitters. I shook the evaluated shit out of it to aerate it up, and then like a lot of aeration, and then put it into a chilled coupe. Topped it with a orange twist and one of these lactose
Lacto-fermented cherry.
fermented cherries. It's delicious.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call this one. Maybe the answer is 43.
Nice.
So
Brilliant.
this is 2 ounces of Banhez mezcal, an ounce of liqueur 43, an ounce of Amaro Nonino, 2 dashes of mole bitters, and lactose fermented cherry.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's super good.
I made. I'm calling this one "Rolling Down the Street" to keep with the theme of my gin and juice cocktails. That's right. So this is 2 ounces of Bar Hill Tomcat, 3/4 of an ounce of my Trash Oleo, half an ounce of Aperol, 1/4 ounce liquor 43, then approximately 3 to 4 ounces of Orangina. I've made this Orangina specifically to go with gin and juice cocktails. Like this is designed for you to add gin to it and then drink it. So just crushed ice, Orangina in the glass, and then pour the booze on top. You don't need to dilute the booze or stir it or anything. I stirred it dry in a mixing glass just to combine the ingredients, and then just poured it over the top. Pretty tasty.
All right, then. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I'll go real quick.
All right.
Just a mango serrano syrup I made, which is pretty good. So it's I put 1 3/4 ounce Hamilton 86, 3/4 ounce pineapple syrup, half ounce of the mango serrano syrup, and a little less than a half ounce of maple syrup. It's pretty good. I just stirred it in the glass because my kids are trying to fall asleep.
Appreciate that. All right, then. So, as when we left off, there was the discussions that were being had around Sid's new edition, as well as the Dream. There was some talk about some dragons, the 4, maybe some emotional things, some folklore. There was some concern maybe about its sea serpent, and then the maitre d' from the night before, or the day before, had come in and handed Skjald a note. So what are you guys doing?
Skjald is staring at this note intently. He's clearly read it like 4 times.
Why are we talking about dragons specifically from the sky and not sea?
Sark would have kind of updated you, realizing that you weren't awake yet, is going to do it again.
Did he say Nazi?
This is going to sound awkward.
I don't know what that is either.
You need to look at Sid's chest.
So Sid will come over hearing that and
Skjald still
show.
chuckles, even though he's staring intently at his note.
Elle immediately looks embarrassed after chuckling about it. He's not awake enough to control that yet.
Sid is also like a 40-some-year-old. I think 47-year-old. Anyway.
I'm almost a 40-something-year-old.
That would be the equivalent of 18.
Holy shit. Anyway, so Sid will come over and be like, yeah, Elle, I had a dream. I woke up with these scales, and let Elle take a look at the new edition.
It is natural, but unnatural growth.
So we think she's turning into a dragon.
Yeah,
I mean,
A little bit.
yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
And
I
feel
mean,
the same
also,
way.
I guess not a while ago, started getting the ability to, like, push things with, like, wind. Super weird, like, almost like I have, like, wings that I can't see.
So what's the problem with turning into a dragon? That seems kind of fucking cool to me.
Well,
Times you be a dragon.
I don't feel in control of the creature like consumed me, and I'm a little worried about losing myself to it and not so much becoming a dragon, but being taken over by a dragon.
Consumed as like ate you or like took a
Like in a dream, like I was
like small bites because most of these things.
no, not eaten. Like the dragon was blackness above me, and then wrapped around me and like consumed
like a hug.
myself in like a
not like
cocoon.
a-
I don't know, maybe like SOA
a-
being trapped in a waking up inside the cocoon that she was trapped in.
I'll step. Like, this sounds like it might be a little more, I don't know, spiritual on the consumption side of things, as opposed to like the dragon physically eating our friend.
I don't know that I can do much about that part.
Have you haven't any ideas, seen anything like this?
Have I seen anything like that?
Read anything like this?
I rolled an 11. Have I seen anything like this?
No.
I was also an avid collector of conspiracy theories.
Right. I'm just getting into conspiracy theories.
But see, the thing is that you may be into conspiracy theories, but surprisingly, a lot of the conspiracy theories don't involve large spiritual / deity creatures. Most of them are just like they're surprisingly down to earth. The conspiracy theories that float around Liber-Earth, right? Like it's usually like, oh, the gods are just a racket. It's really just some sort of one world order that's trying to destroy blah 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 blah. Or the tieflings, they're gonna rise up again, and they're really in control of the entertainment industry, right? So like,
Tieflings forever.
The Illuma deity. That's who it is.
But there are lizard people in this world.
There are lizard people.
yeah, Matt met them. And
Why
they,
do you, right? Like, I don't think they're secretly controlling the government.
Why do you
I
think
mean,
they put pyramids on the money?
So, but no, in even with the conspiracy theories, and even with your world traveledness, I would say that neither of you, I mean, other than the natural things that you guys have maybe seen of like a boa constrictor or something to that effect, but nothing like so all encompassing like that.
Can I make an extremely long shot
Sure,
attempt?
you can certainly
I'm
try.
just gonna sit down and try and like get that inner focus and open whatever lenses let him see ghosts and try and stare at Sid.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I like this.
Nice.
So go ahead, give me a D100.
Hang on, gotta charge him up.
Which one? How do you charge up dice?
Nate has glow in the dark
They
dice.
glow in the dark.
Oh, okay.
And Curtis brought a spectacular UV light.
So close.
I'm one away from a good number. I got a 68.
Oh.
Oh. See, on a D100, the natural 20 is 69.
Yeah, of course.
100. Yeah,
No,
100%.
So what was it, 68?
Yes.
Okay.
Critical roll. So 69.
So as you sit down and these conversations continue to kind of revolve and they happen around you, you sit down and you do find that you're able to find this kind of like inner space, and you open up, you almost physically feel like an iris open up, and it just kind of, and you feel that you still have like exactly what happened in underneath Fort Vengeance, except during this time it feels more controlled and it's not as frightening. However, as you look, you don't see anything, except for everything at this point is kind of monochrome. So you see everything in shades of black and gray, and it's just kind of like a thermal image. But you don't see anything other than your friends and the people and the things that are supposed to be there.
Okay, Sark will blink and shake his head to get out of that vision, and then look at Sid and just be like, "Well, nothing's leaking spiritually from you, so I got none."
Do you think, Elle, do you think you could help me go to the library and just try to see if we can look up anything like this creature?
At the mention of library, El visibly perks up from being slumped in his chair over the coffee and rum he has. Probably at least the second cup.
Can we take coffee and rum to the library?
Only if they don't see you bring it in.
We can make that happen.
Hand
So-
flasks out.
Yeah.
It's like 6 flaps on the table.
Yeah, almost immediately.
So L, just so this is something
Skull
that
is like
L would,
carefully pouring from the cups. into
this
the
is something
flasks.
that L would know, but I don't know if Dustin may necessarily know. The manager himself does not have he's got a very nice library, but it's very unique to him. The extensive library is actually located at the Temple of Helm, where they not only does the temple and the worshippers of Helm actually have a deal with in like protection and safety and those kinds of things. They also do delve with knowledge, and what it kind of stemmed from this idea of knowledge is power and knowledge is safety, and then it's just kind of flown from there. So probably, if not the one of the most extensive libraries, period, in the world is located at the main Temple of Helm here in Tinkermere.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured, is that we wouldn't be hitting the manager's library for it.
Right.
Yeah, we can go to the Temple of Helm. They're probably, if I'm awake, they're open by now.
Let me get everyone but Skjald to make a quick perception check, please.
Once.
$24.
Okay.
My dice
Oh,
says
is this me?
61. Sorry, I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
I got a 17.
What was that, Sark?
19.
Okay.
In keeping with tradition, I got a whole 6.
Okay. So Elle is just pumped about going to the library.
Right, he's already planning routes and...
Mm-hmm.
Super into it.
Everyone else finally kind of gets that look, and they notice the note that Skjald has been holding in his hand, and they've kind of realized that as he's talked, he has not looked up from this note. He's still rereading it, and he's talking to you through the note. You know, one of these kind of like where he's just kind of like this. And then he'll say his stuff.
What you got there, buddy?
It's a note from the manager,
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Manager,
The
For,
very same.
for just you?
directly to me.
I mean, I would assume that's where a note would come from here.
Yeah.
Most often.
You find it interesting that he sent it directly to me and not through the two of you.
They liked you enough to offer you a job, so...
That's true. This does make me feel like that was sincere.
He wouldn't have offered if he didn't mean it.
Well, sometimes people offer you a job so they can get you killed, you know. So
If he wanted us dead, we'd be dead.
that also seems very accurate. Have any of you ever been to Iskarin? And have I ever been to Iskarin?
So I would say, Skull, there's a possibility. Because had you been up north towards Wudan when you guys first went up there? You guys remember when you guys went up there for the?
I had not specifically been to Wudan, but I had been north, just not that far north.
So then we'll say that you have been to the port city of Iskarin, just real quick, nothing, just kind of really like a stopover, replenish goods kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Similar deal for SOA?
I'd say SOA would.
Okay.
Probably not for anyone else though.
I'm not even gonna roll for Sark. Nope.
Never been there.
It's a port.
Yeah.
So for Skald and SOA, if you guys can roll me a quick history check.
Yeah, I got a 13.
Okay.
I got. Maybe I haven't been there.
It's one of my orders.
You stay afloat.
For a total of 3.
You stayed on the boat.
You didn't get leave while you were there. You were one of the ones that got stuck on the ship.
Right, yeah.
So the reason, Skjald, that you actually went ashore specifically is that 99% of the population of Iskaran are Aasimar and Tiefling.
Ah.
And so what they are is they are actually political outcasts from the from Wudan and those city states, the Magiocracies. So let me see here. Let me get to my right. I've got all my notes here.
You don't just make this up as you go.
No, I don't, Matt. I don't.
You should see the notebooks of world building.
The
Yeah, so-
notebooks of world building.
Yeah, I don't
I
recommend
say-
jotting it up as you go.
I
Then
say-
you have to remember what you made up later.
Right.
I was working a reel earlier today about this, and I'm just pushing that button.
He's just giving me shit. So founded by political exiles from Wudan, Tieflings and Aasimar Raiders. It's a loose collection of. It's really just kind of. It's Haven in miniature with even less governance. It's the only consolidated, or the only majority. Blah, 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 blah. They only consolidate in this port city due to cultural similarities. Most of them focus their raiding to the north on Sarum Tel Kabahad and those common targets there.
So, like, they're pirates, but they're not the kind of pirates that I give a shit about because, you know, we're also pirates.
We are also pirates.
We're pirates?
Yeah, we're pirates.
That's why we got rich.
We're the pirates who don't do anything.
Don't let it go to your head.
We did some things.
I cannot believe Justin doesn't just want to fucking judge each other.
I mean, he beat me to it.
We haven't really done very many pirate things.
We've done a few
I feel like
things.
I mean, we robbed an island.
We
Yeah, that's pretty
investigate
pirate.
way
So,
more often
I
than
guess.
we
pretty
do
fucking
pirating.
pirate.
Yeah, that's fair.
You would be shocked how often pirates have to investigate things. Have you ever read a treasure map made by another pirate? It's not super helpful. It's all investigation. It's very vague hints at a thing.
Sorry, braces.
Do you have a treasure map made by another pirate?
Yeah, of
I
course
want to
I
play.
Yeah. I reach into my coat pocket to the inside pocket and just I shuffle and he can see from where he's sitting that there's like 5 different rolled up parchments and I'm like, yeah, that one. There you go. I never found that.
So it's
So
just like pirates or cartographers?
Really bad ones.
Except
Except for the ones that are good.
okay, so you're saying I'm a pirate now.
Yes.
Okay, as a pirate, as part of the pirate guild,
There's no guild.
We don't have a guild.
No.
as a
It's
part
more
of
of a free agent sort of system.
Okay.
Highly democratic.
the cadre.
We really should unionize.
I mean,
Like-
we're basically a free workers collective to begin with, so we don't even need a union at this
But
point.
what I want to
It's
do,
all a system of elected officials.
what I want to do is I want to make change, and I want to ensure that we stop measuring thing by paces. Okay, I think that we need to standardize some things. We need to get a few things a little bit more straight, so that
Oh.
when you want to find your
Just to be
treasure
clear-
that's buried, you're gonna be able to find it.
Just to be clear, all pirates use the metric system.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then,
Yeah, this map is just terrible. It all turns it around.
that map is just bad.
It's just poorly drawn.
It's just
It's
a bad
really
map.
bad
The
map.
rest of those maps, are much better.
If we
Yeah.
can figure out where the measurements started, that
Yeah,
would make
yeah.
sense.
If you
Exactly.
understood the riddle,
I
you'd
don't
be
know
able to
what the
get there
fuck
like
they're
that.
talking about.
He's a very clearly a poor artist.
Anyways, you were talking about a
yeah,
location.
so is Karin. It's a I don't even necessarily want to call it a city, but it is a city. It's an inhabited location with buildings and people. They're sort of they're pirates and kind of land pirates as well. I don't really have a word for that, but they're mostly made up of my people and tieflings, which I consider my people as well, were both celestially or infernally touched. But Mr. Manager gave me a note saying that Delilah was seen there, and that we should go to the Flotsam Flotilla, just to the south of the city, to seek out a seer so that I can find Delilah.
So why are we still right? Library first, then we go find people.
Yeah.
And I was gonna stand up and start walking for the door.
Patrice grabs half a loaf of soda bread to take with him on the way because he didn't get a full breakfast.
Both of you recognize that name, then.
That's why I'm looking up notes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but I recognize
Yes.
the name from
We
it.
have soda bread here from Trompo. Trompo, you cowards.
Sponsor us, you sons of bitches.
Send me bread in the mail.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's the thing:
Trompo.
when we say sponsor, we don't want your money.
No,
We want your bread.
correct.
And
Yeah,
your
that's
cookies.
You don't have to give us fuck all for cash.
Nope.
On a side note, they did open a downtown location for downtown Denver.
Yeah,
Nice.
we just want your gluten.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Also, if
Sorry,
you have
Jared.
non-gluten, I'll take that too.
So who is going to try and bring this back disaster to back to reality here?
Elsher has tried to.
Yeah, I'm following. I get up and I start following Al after
Yeah, okay.
sharing that information.
If he gets outside and realizes that nobody's there, he's gonna go back to get Sid. But
No, I'm following. I'm following.
Come on, Esway, let's go to the library.
Okay.
I'm going to detour to go grab all the
Bread.
toolkits I want and then meet them all at the library.
Okay, Patrice. Go to the library.
To the
Okay.
library.
Thank you.
Skjeld is still distracted as well, but he's trying his hardest to focus on Sid's problem. But he is very observably distracted
Yeah, no,
as
that's
things are
I
happening.
think you like it.
Like, he's like, even when we get to the library, he's going to help look for things and try to find helpful information. But even if he finds something, he's staring at the book. And it's not until somebody asks, did you find something? He's like, oh yeah, I totally did. Here it is. You know, he's like engaged in the task at hand, but failing to report any successes.
All right. So before we get to the library, as everyone kind of makes their way downstairs, you exit, and at this point, you guys have been chatting long enough that the lives of the city has begun to kind of take charge. And as it hits you, you kind of exit the sunshine. You have that delightful sense of a city that is nearly washed clean with fresh, clean scent. And as you slowly weave your way through the crowded streets and through the kind of, there's really no straight line in Tinker, right? Other than the docks or the street that the managers built. Everything else is kind of convoluted and twisted. And you get the sense of baking bread, bacon, of the remnants of the night before. It is just this massive and all-encompassing city. For Starkin for Sarkin and Elle, they feel very natural. This is, for most of you, this is the largest city that you've ever seen. In fact, for all of you, it would be the largest city you've ever seen. And for those of you who are somewhat comfortable, including Sid, who has grown up in a city of not comparable size, but a fairly large city, you know, there's an easy walk to them where they feel comfortable, where they're able to still be aware of everything that's going on, but at the same time feel natural. For those of you who really have only been to places like Haven, who maybe stay on the ship and don't go ashore, this city is overwhelming. Even though you've been here for a couple of weeks, as you continue to walk here, the press of people, the sounds of quality, fun, arguments, fighting, everything is just there. There's no bright front. It's the equivalent to the first time you were in Manhattan. It's just big and scary and huge and terrifying and exciting and exhilarating and fun, and all of these things hitting at the same time. And you walk underneath the night market that is on the aqueduct ahead of you, above you, that you don't realize it until you now have looked up and you walk under it, and it's like hundreds of feet in the air. And you're like, holy shit, I made a date with a really hot tailor up there, and I need to go do that thing. And then you walk past and you get to what seems to be kind of almost a uncentral central courtyard. Ella's led the way. And here you see that it seems that there is that all of the temples and places of worship of the different deities, patrons, and minor gods have just kind of consumed the largest which on the top, at the top of the temple itself is kind of a male fist that just kind of is sitting there to signify that this is the temple. And you walk in, and Elle is like, as soon as Elle sees the building, he's like shot out of a cannon, right? And he is just gone. And as soon as the rest of you follow him, you see that he is talking to someone in a very familiar conversation. And he just kind of, Elle turns around and just kind of waves on him as he begins to follow this rogue individual. And it seems that Elle has imparted something to him that seems to have increased a sense of urgency. And you watch as he takes you to kind of a side entrance that is gated, and he pulls out this very large old skeleton key and inserts it into this kind of like old school jail cell door, and you hear the click, and then the door clicks open, and now you're being led down the stairs into a dark and musty room, or set of rooms that's lit by what appears to be magical torches setting stanzas. And then eventually, as you come to a space, the walls open up to a large garage. And as you look out, it's very much right into the dark eyes. As it continues on and on, nothing but stacks. Just stacks. And at this point, it is eerily silent. You see little pockets of light that are poking down, and the person who has led you here says, "Here is our repository of, let's say, dangerous information. Based on what my friend Elle here has told me, that this is a space where you need to be to initiate your research. For any of you who need each of the corrals there," and he points to this kind of desk with a cover on it. He says, "The moment that you open a book there on that desk, the light will shine on it for you, and let others know that this is your space and that no one is to enter it. We will be here for any of your needs. Elle knows how all of this works, and we will aid you in your search as is necessary." And with that, he walks off. Y'all have very rarely seen Elle this excited in a space that he is very happy to be in. And that's where we're going to take our next break. And we will start in the next after this break with our investigation, and we will go from there. And we'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where everything takes too much fiddling with. It's never perfect, and no matter how hard we try, it always ends up that way. ask John about his Serrano syrup.
Right.
Right? All right, fellas.
It is a conversation in the Discord. Yes.
Yes.
I made a drink.
very
I'll come up
easy.
with a name very shortly. It has 1 ounce of green chartreuse. Good luck finding it. 1 ounce of Batavia Ararak. Not actually that hard to find.
No, not hard.
Not really. And then 1 ounce of the Trash Oleo Sacrum from John, and 1 ounce of lemon juice.
It's
Egg
too
white.
busy.
You shake the ever loving shit out of it, and then you add ice, and then you shake the ever loving shit out of it again. Then you double strain it into your glass. I put drops of Peychaud's on top and made some hearts with a thing, and it's delicate and complex. I'm really proud of it. I don't know what it is, but it's nice.
That feels like a nice woven blanket. This feels like a barroom brawl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a fight. That's a fight in a glass.
Very apt.
Yeah.
Very apt.
What else we got?
If you were looking in the Discord and you just saw some shit going to the memes board and got a notification about that, and then you looked and there's nothing in there, but there was another notification that came up in Drinks Pinup, and then there's stuff there. No, you didn't. So this is
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
this is the Yellow Empress. It is Empress Indigo Gin. It is Yellow Chartreuse. It is lemon, and it is Trash Oleo. Shaken, strained into a Nick and Nora. I never double strain unless it's. I only double strain in very specific instances. I like to double strain for egg white sours. It gets your meringue much tighter. So your meringue is
Your
a
bubbles
better
are
consistency. Yeah, it makes the bubbles smaller, and I think it makes a nice consistency. If you shake hard enough and long enough, you can skip the double strain on a egg white sour, but you're better off just doing it. So I like to pour all of my drinks bruised. I think that the ice chips actually give like a good kind of like mouthfeel. It keeps your drink cold for longer, and the amount of dilution you're getting out of the ice chips that get past a Hawthorne is not going to change the actual content of the cocktail. So try it out. Even try it with like your vodka martinis and shit. It'll be great. So yeah, shook the hell out of it. I used an orange twist because we only had an orange to twist. But you know how to do an orange twist. You squeeze it, twist it, rub it around the rim, and drop it in.
Bop it.
Bop it, twist it,
Slap it.
bop it,
No, we're not
Tap
all part
it.
of the Hobbit generation.
smack
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Get in the comments.
All right, so I made. I don't know if we need to name this because it's way too busy.
It's a fight in a glass.
Yeah.
That's the name.
So this is the barroom brawl. That's what they call it. So I did not the Indigo Empress, the Red Empress, which I believe is rosé.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's rosé. It's 2 ounces of rosé Empress, an ounce of yellow chartreuse, a half ounce of Suze.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna.
Which
put
is not a
Suze in
bad
this.
combination of things right there.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
told you
and
to do
then,
a quarter, didn't I?
No, I
told you to.
Oh, I
I was
should've
like,
done it.
I think I said literally a half is a lot.
I'd already had a half in the jigger at this point, Curtis. Like
No,
we're
let's
having
drink
this
the other half.
conversation.
Let's go into the glass.
So it's all going
Somewhere.
into the drink at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too much Suze. And then because it's too much Suze, I added orange bitters and
Is there an Amaro in there?
no, it's just Luxardo cherry.
Tastes like there's
Wow.
Amaro in there.
There's
doesn't
no
it?
Amaro.
It does. Yeah.
I know. Well, Suze
also the color.
Suze has got the gentian.
Well, it's the
The Luxardo juice.
No,
no,
it's
it's
the
the
rosé
it's the
gin.
Oh, it's the
rosé
rosé.
gin.
The rosé gin got it that
and
dark.
a little bit of
With
Luxardo
Suze and
and the Luxardo
All right, then.
a little bit from the Luxardo cherry.
A
but-
ballroom brawl may be my favorite name of a drink, though.
It's
I
good.
mean, it's a good name.
It's not terrible.
It's not a terrible drink.
It's
Ratios need to be adjusted, but it
Yeah.
still needs to be.
It
a
tastes
barroom
like
brawl.
Suze.
All right.
too much Suze.
Yeah.
And it
So-
probably doesn't need orange bitters.
Probably not.
Yeah.
All
I was
right.
like, which Suze? And I was like, what can I do?
All right, friends. So
Yeah.
As y'all drink your drinks,
43.
your characters are now underground of the Temple of Helm in the dangerous section.
The restricted section.
No, nothing from that author, please. So, Elle, you would have been down here before. Like, this is a familiar space for you. You have done this before. So what I'm going to need is first I need y'all to figure out what it is that you're looking for here. And then I'm going to need 4 of you. You're going to eventually give me rolls. So go.
So the most I got from this conversation was we're looking for a
Black Dragon.
brain-eating, flying black dragon.
Brain
Yeah.
and spirit are different.
Eh.
We're sitting in the middle of a temple. Brain and spirit are different.
Fine.
Sid is going to
Spirit-eating,
look for
brain-eating.
a reference to a consuming black as night, like dragon.
Okay. So I need the 4 of you who are going to really dive into this search. I need to know, 1, who they are, and then I'm going to need each of the 4 of you to roll a D100 for me.
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like Sark and Skill are the helpers in this thing.
And
Yeah.
Patrice could
So
help if
you're
he
not
needs
rolling. It's the other 4
Oh.
that are rolling.
Gotcha. We're assisting,
Yes.
and they're getting advantage because of us.
Sid got a 75.
I don't know if that's what it's been in the library before. So
Okay.
it's good.
Cool.
Elle's got a 13.
13.
96.
Okay.
Nice.
That makes me very happy, actually.
Got the whole spread covered.
Right. I don't know if this is a high, a low, a mid Morgan D100 roll, but
D100.
Oh.
thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
Thank God. Praise Lich Jesus.
52.
52. Okay. I don't
we
know
just-
how you guys did it, but you guys hit all of my number ranges that I had lined up for you.
Amazing.
You
I was
did it.
walking around going, you need that shelf.
We did it,
About halfway
team.
down, 3rd shelf. You need that line.
All right. So, Elle, you found a book called The Mad Song, subtitle Draconic Magic. Patrice, you found a book called Black Book of Durrigan. Sid, you found a book called House of the Sun.
Okay.
And then SOA, you found a book called Bones of the Earth.
Bones of the earth. Sounds like a freaking 40K. Chin.
It's definitely
I mean,
definitely
there-
a book
there may
in
be
the,
someone here
Elder
who-
Ghost Chronicles.
there may be someone here who is currently reading like 40K books. I mean, I don't know who it is.
Somebody telling you the lore.
Yeah.
I've done that too.
Nice.
Luton, man. Oh.
Oh, he's so good, dude. His voice is buttery. It's nice.
The Imperial Irritor, or however they say it, he's another one. He's got a great voice. So, but yeah. So what do you guys want to do? You guys found these books. They've all kind of called out to you. They really hit, like, as you kind of, and they're not like, it's not like, obviously it's not a modern day book. There's no little abstract on the back or anything like that. So what you're getting when you pull these out, most of them are parchments wrapped in vellum, right? So they're, and then they're tied with a little strap of leather. The only one that isn't is the Mad Song. And what you see there, Elle, when you look at this, is that there is a newer piece of parchment on top of an old set of just pure vellum pieces that are Some are scorched. Some appear to have some acid marks. Some, they're very much all aged yellow, except for that very top sheet of parchment, which does not match the rest of them. So what are you guys doing? Excuse me.
After we get done yawning, we're going to look at the. We're gonna peruse some pages and see what we find.
All right. So for whoever wants to do theirs now, I need investigation checks.
I get handed a book, I believe it. Otherwise, I am.
Nat 20!
Drink, motherfuckers, drink.
Motherfuckers, drink.
I was going to use the lucky point, but I don't need to.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna play the lucky halfling divination with her.
It's happening. It's gonna
I'm having
happen.
enough fun with
It might be in
Order
10
of
years, but
Scribes
it's
with
happening.
it.
Already got
I feel
you
like
scheduled for it.
I was like, I feel
Thank
like
you.
that's a one-shot character too.
No,
All right. So,
It might be it's not necessarily a one-shot character. It might be a, you know,
Sorry, I was looking at where my head hit the flag.
good time. Not
all
a
right.
long
So
time
what else did we get?
character that's gonna murder you.
Patrice got a 17.
Okay.
Elle got a 28.
Okay.
10. That's why I got a 10.
This is the
And
difference.
this is maybe Esway's first time in a library. I'm not gonna lie.
This is the difference in the way
I don't think David
that
has one, so
techno sorcerers and gadget wizards read and how bards read.
There's still pictures of
Yeah.
people having sex.
Right.
This isn't a dirty picture book.
Not
Why am
only-
I here?
This
Not
isn't
only is
even
there-
written in verse. Why the hell am I
Right.
reading this?
Not only is there no pornography, there's absolutely no melody.
Is this iambic pentameter? No. Or what's the point?
Yeah.
So SOA, what you end up finding is a collection of stories of creation myths. So because you are like, why does this not rhyme? This is boring. Until you get to one in the middle where it is an older story and it is kind of an epic poem-esque style. And this was transcribed from an oral tradition. And you're like, all right, I can get down with this. This is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
there we go.
So, but you're not really getting much out of it. The only thing that you are getting out of it, just because it was kind of a brief and you're just kind of struggling with it, is the fact that there seems to be one common thread between all of these creation myths, and that there is a creator, but they all have different names for it, and that none of them seem to be able to pin down anything other than that it exists, right? It's about the only common thread, but everything else is pretty distinct. Oh, one more common thread: dragons. It's why the book called to you. So, next one is going to be Patrice, the Black Book of Durrigan. It seems that Durrigan is some form of name for a black dragon. You're not sure if it's the actual name or if it's some sort of local name. Let me pull out my old lore book that is like falling apart.
Just like the parchment I'm reading.
Right.
Mhm. There it is. All right. So Durrigan seems to thrive on chaos. And it seems that at some point they have made their way to the material plane. And it seems that this creature was attempting to sow chaos to just kind of drain it in. And then 3 other dragons came to take it away.
Dope. Does it mention the colors of the dragons?
Not with the 17.
Damn. Does it mention the names of the dragons?
Not with a 17. You're not even reading this, man.
I know.
All right.
These are
L,
questions the child would ask.
Patrice.
The Mad Song. What this tells you, so it's a very discombobulated, incoherent collection. A lot of it seems to be ancient pieces of documentation of the creation of magic that stems from the draconic bloodlines. So what you would know as a sorcerer. But there are a few pages in there that tell you about the history of this magic. And what it seems like is that there is a reference to a certain number. You don't get the number, but a number of ancient mystical dragons that eventually have come down to the material, and they sired some children. And these children eventually became the Dragonborn. And the descriptions of these creatures that you read in this small history match not the Dragonborn you know of today, but of the size and build and cast of the size of the ones that you fought back underneath Haven all those many months ago. And
Those dragons got that Zeus in them.
and eventually, as the time has gone on, the magic inherent in these creatures have eventually decreased to the point where it's no more than what the typical Dragonborn has now today. But there are draconic lineages that, and the magic that stayed in the bloodline that seems to have dispersed not just into Dragonborn, but anyone else who could possibly have even a hint of the dragon in them. For the House of the Sun, because you rolled a natural 20.
Ooh.
This tells the story of Omerth, the Warm-Hearted.
Oh, sweet guy.
This tells you the story of one of the ancient dragons that was built to deal with the strain on the multiverse of the emotional expressions of the sentient creatures of the material. One of 4 that were created. The Warm-Hearted is the embodiment of empathy, grace, love, and seems to have both the least and most amount of interaction with the sentient creatures of the world. The least in the fact that he doesn't seem to pop down very often. But when he does, it has the most and longest lasting impact of any kind. Now, the sad part of this book is that it doesn't give actual names to the other 3 dragons. It only gives their monikers, their titles. And what you read are the Watcher, the Calm, and the Apoplectic. And it seems that at times there is a contentious battle between the 4 of them as they seek out power and strength within the Astral Sea, which seems to be their main domain. But really what has come about over the last couple millennia is that the Calm, the Warm-Hearted, excuse me, oh man, that's always fun, and the Watcher have settled into a pretty easy truce where they have come to learn their place in the multiverse. It's the Apoplectic that seems now to be the concern of the three others. The Apoplectic, who was described as black-hearted, reaching out to try and impart and destroy not only the will of the gods, but of the people themselves. To devour the world through chaos and destruction. The problem is that the dragons themselves don't necessarily have control. They are only essentially the embodiment. I figure that right there should be enough for y'all to chew on.
Yeah, that's some heavy shit.
So Sid, you all hear audibly, like big inhale, exhale.
Excuse me. I said
And for anyone listening, she whispers, "This is in part my choice." And she folds her hands and closes her eyes and like almost meditates for a moment.
What part is your choice?
Yeah.
Which emotions I let control me. What I have been so caught up in this anger and angst of my best friends, maybe more than that, being taken.
Roll an insight check for me real quick, Sid.
Oh, not great. Flat 5.
You're a sorcerer. You can use this. You can use.
Yeah, we're gonna use lucky. I'm just using my lucky. That's much better. 16.
Okay. So as you sit here and think about this too, you think that maybe it's not always just about the choice of your emotions, but some of the actions that you have done on the behests of those who had been appointed over you. You have, through your time in the Legion of the Sword, or the Legion of the Sword, have caused chaos and death and destruction. In fact, some would even call you an artist. You were the Sergeant of the Dagger. You were the epitome of what an enlisted soldier of Crypsis was aspiring to be. And then you focused all of that as well into your feelings of loss for your lost sister.
I don't know. I guess it's maybe even more than that. In my time in the Legion of the Sword, and then when I became part of the Legion of the Legion of the Dagger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I called the shots. I was the Sergeant of the Dagger. I'm the one. I caused the chaos. I caused the destruction. I participated in it. I asked for the deeds to be done. I was in charge in many of these situations. Maybe, but that's not the embodiment. There's three other dragons here that were not in my dream. I'm sure that the dragon that I saw was the apoplectic dragon. There's a dragon of calm, the dragon of the warm-hearted, the dragon of the watcher, and there's also a part of me that wants to be those things. I want to bring calmness to those under my command and to my friends, to you guys. I want to be warm-hearted to those who are lost. Can't remember her name, but the girl that we just led in the dungeon or
I
in
was
the
going to say,
caverns.
I think you just did that. I think
I
that
wanna-
is who you are.
I want to watch. Maybe in my retirement, maybe that's for a greater purpose. Maybe I have another reason for being here than to sow destruction and chaos. But I'm gonna have to fight like hell to not become and let my rage for Shavat to consume me. This will be as much a battle inside as it is outside. Holy shit.
I mean, you say that like chaos and destruction is, by definition, a bad thing. It's not.
It is when it's all consuming, Al. You can't just let it be to the point where it takes your humanity, where all you care about is war and winning, and
You also can't.
you can't dehumanize. You can't. There's a point in war where the enemy becomes nothing. You hate their religion, you hate their race, you hate who they are, what they are, everything about them. You're trained to hate those things because you become a better combatant. Because they're not you, they're not like you. It's easier to kill something when they're not who you are. I've experienced this. I've held it in my hands. I've asked others to accept this ideology. And when I arrived on Haven, it wasn't like that. I don't think you understand. It wasn't like that.
No,
It changed me. Like, that's the one thing, if Haven has impressed anything me, there is no one that is just evil by default. That's not who we are as beings.
No, you're right. It's much better to hate an individual based on their individual terrible deeds and acts, not for some overarching theme of hatred.
But just like chaos and destruction is not.
Chaos is not evil.
It's not a bad thing necessarily. Watching is not a good thing necessarily either. If you're just watching, you're doing fuck all to help somebody.
When you spend time in
Being
nature,
warm-hearted, yeah, cool. You feel for people. Still not doing fuck all to help them.
you notice that nature is filled with chaos and death.
Yeah, it's
And that's
where it happens. That
I
makes
guess
the
no.
difference.
No, I think that's a good point, El, but from what I'm reading here, the other three entities have found a balance. The other three dragons have found a balance, and the epileptic refuses to join in that balance. And as much
going to let entities outside yourself define your actions.
Yeah, pretty sure you're not a dragon right now.
Going to give them that amount of power because that is the racket the gods want from you. Because they want your decisions to be for them. Or
Right now,
for you.
That is most definitely accurate. And there is a middle way. There's plenty of philosophies and theologies that preach a middle way, a path of balance, a path of action and observation. Let your observation dictate your action, not the other way around. What you're talking about is actions dictating observations. You engage in war, therefore you observe the enemy as evil, whereas you could identify evil and then make war upon it.
I hear what you're saying. I need to sit with it. This is new to me, and all I know is what I felt in that dream, what these scales that I woke up with, I feel like they represent. That's not what I want to be. 100%.
Well, there's your answer then. Don't be that.
You can use its power to overcome it.
Sid,
Yeah?
your feelings are valid.
It's not always about what you're given, but what you do with what you're given.
Yeah, don't,
Someone who no longer has their own body. A few
don't
scales don't seem that much of a problem.
don't allow yourself to be something that you're not.
Can you guys help me with that? Can you
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
stay by my side and Patrice, like, and Scald and L and Sark and SOA? I need you guys. Like, I need you guys to help me walk through this. I've done too much on my own and not open myself up as I should to my who should be my trusted and my closest friends.
I mean, if you're that concerned about what's in you, we can go find some blood from another dragon and put it in you too.
Yeah.
I was just going to say we
I
had
really
the legend
don't-
of God that need a punch.
Think
Also
that's
valid.
the issue.
That too. I mean, if the black scales
Yours
don't
is
bother
on the
her
list.
much,
Stop
we can
looking
put
at
some
me like
different color
that.
scales on.
Just most.
So now we want to punch a god and steal some
No, no,
blood
there's
from
no
dragons.
Or
Multiple.
You're just adding
we
to the list. It was
want to
already
punch
there.
the gods and steal blood from dragons.
They're not even really gods. It's fine.
Use their term to identify themselves.
That's fair. But
It's
like,
very progressive of you.
it is. But that's like, you know, a slave master demanding to be referred to as master. The identity of oppressors is irrelevant to me. The self-appointed identity of oppressors.
I think I have enough to chew on.
Dietitious fuckwits. That's what I'm going to call them. Dietitious fuckwits.
Yeah, I think we have enough. I think we found the answers we were looking for here.
Lot waffles.
Yeah, that.
Scald, I believe you mentioned something about Delilah earlier, that
Did.
your letter, you have a lead from the manager.
Yeah, Mr. Manager sent me a lead.
What was the city again?
Hold on one second.
Is Kari.
Scald would not be
Iskarn.
yeah, is Karin, yeah.
I believe we have a heading then. That's the correct term, right?
Yeah,
So
you got it. You nailed it.
We
Yeah.
do.
We have to at least stop by Frankie's first.
Well, yeah, obviously.
We also need to. Though at least the four of us need to go let the manager know that we're not
taking the
this
job
offer.
Yeah.
Morgan, who is there, like, opposites in terms of these dragons?
Well, it
Can
depends.
I be able to detect that in terms of the
In the book, no.
read? No. Okay.
No.
So, but the three seem to find a balance, and the one does not.
So the
Okay,
the one thing,
cool.
the advantage to having a natural 20 is the fact that you're gonna be, it's kind of hard. I mean, there's still stuff that you probably won't pull out of it because that's how I work with books. But I will say what it is the idea is that all four of them are supposed to counterbalance each other.
Okay.
It's not that
Cool.
there's opposites. It's not that there is. It's as your friends have been talking to you about how each of these things are natural and each of these things are part of the world. You feel that, based on the reading of this text, that may have been the original intent behind these dragons. Is that they are to counterbalance something that is completely and utterly natural. That way, one doesn't overpower the other, and they are able to continue to be in balance. And there's a lot more I can go on forever.
No, you're good. I gotcha.
So
It's what Sid needed that answer to seek what she was gonna look for, to pick up.
So what do you guys want to do first? So this time it's past brunch. And I
We have
believe
to-
that was the promise with Frankie.
Manager, your answer. We can
Yeah, let's head to
we
give
can
the
run over
manager.
to Frankie's with Patrice.
Frankie.
While you guys do that.
We should go talk to the manager.
I feel like
Let's do
the
that.
four of them should do it in person.
Yeah.
And then whoever wants to go can go talk to Frankie. I will work with the captain and we will prep for Iskarn.
Thank you. Skeld stops at a street meat vendor on the way to the manager's office.
This is the first one that Scout tries to stop at. I was like, no, not this one. Not here.
That one may not be me.
I mean, it's meat.
Is it? It's meat.
It is very technically, by definition, meat.
If you identify it, it's meat. Trust me, I know. It identifies as meat. I don't know what kind, but
what kind of meat might be
Kinds.
different. Yeah.
So what L directs you to is going to be essentially well, the English translation is an Arab taco.
Yes.
So
excellent.
it's not it is al pastor, but it's not. So
Right, yeah.
it's essentially al pastor on a pita bread. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
But that's essentially what you're getting, and it's wonderful. It's absolutely perfect.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
So the four of you, Sid, Skjald, Patrice, and Esaway, you walk into the office or towards the office, and it looks like the young tiefling woman who is there as his secretary seems to be prepped for you. She doesn't stop you. She doesn't say anything. She just reaches under the desk and it clicks and the door opens. And as the four of you enter, the manager is he doesn't seem readily available. And then he floats down from the hole in his ceiling from his personal quarters. And he says, my friends, I am very excited to see you and to hear your answer.
Skjald bows extremely deeply, extremely formally, and with zero irony. And he stands back up and he says, I regret to inform you that at this time, I cannot accept your extremely generous offer of employment, for I have to seek certain ends before I can do so. Ends that you are aware of. However, I will say that I am deeply and profoundly indebted to you. And aside from permanent employment, you can ask any favor of me until I am dead and even after in repayment for the favor that you have done for me this day.
And with that, you watch as it's always interesting to watch the manager do these things, right? Because no hands, no arms, no legs.
All eye stalks.
All eye stalks, 2 extra even. And just the pure inky blackness of his center eye is just so disheartening at times. But you watch him give like a French embellished bow to you in return. And he says, well, for one, that information was owed, and I always give what is owed. And even though like nothing about it is threatening, that is a very threatening statement coming from him, right? And
For sure.
And he says, this thing that has somehow entangled me and my people and my city is somehow tied, I think, to you and your quest. So I shall keep looking at this. No charge. And he looks at the... Go ahead.
I glance over my shoulder at Esaway, and I say, I kind of like give a little shiver and a smirk, and I go, that made me warm and fuzzy inside. And then I take a step back.
And then he looks at the three of you and goes,
too serious for too long, you know? He's got to lighten it up somehow.
and what say you?
Speaking for myself, and I think also for Patrice at least a little bit, we also are not in a position where we can accept this offer. We have duties and obligations to our home, and ultimately that haven ultimately is always going to come first for the two of us. And
I appreciate the commitment. I understand that as someone who's tied to their place as well. And you, young lady.
Sid bows her head, leans on her warhammer / cane a little heavier. Mr. Manager, while I am grateful for your belief in our abilities, I have traveled halfway around this world looking for my best friend and have found a sense of balance that I've never had before in the company of those individuals that you see before you right now. I can't throw that out of balance, not now. I believe my essence depends on whatever the future may hold, whatever destiny may await us going forward. And I don't think that me being in your employ would bring balance to myself.
Well, I can tell that all four of you have thought about this very greatly. And for that, I am thankful. And as of right now, the support from my organization will not end, as I believe that you and my two employees are
Standing at the back of the room, just watching.
You're on the path to something important. And so, as of right now, those two have kind of been given leeway to do as necessary. But yeah, if the six of you need anything, my boys know how to get a hold of me. But just know that your rooms and that conference room are now yours for the indefinite future. And you have the support of myself and the 9 brothers and all that truly entails. I thank you for the service that you have rendered so far, and I wish you the best of luck. And I will keep in contact and everything. And with that, he begins to ascend back up to his private quarters. And that's where we're going to leave off for this session, and we'll pick up here in a couple of weeks. Dude, there was some deep emotion in that one. I felt that one deeply. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. That's how you fucking TTRPG. If you want to join, if you have thoughts and comments and you want to talk to Sid and Jared and everyone and all that stuff, join in. The Discord's down below, point. I just want to say, as always, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, everyone, drink well.
Drink well.